out because I'm doing stuff.
All right, what's up, you guys? This is Rob and Peter from Buckeyes Battle Cry. It is
What's
the
up? What's up? What's
second
up?
most greatest time of the year. Yes, we are talking about March Madness. Buckeyes Battle Cry is going to fill out their March Madness bracket. Looking like a lot of upsets are being called, and one in particular, which even though I'm an Ohio State fan, I still think it's kind of outlandish. A lot of analysts are calling UC San Diego to upset Michigan. Now, I I just don't agree with that. I mean, normally when you get a team who gets into a groove in the tournament, they typically have a nice run in March Madness. And they go back to Michigan State, Iowa. Well, they weren't really the when Michigan State won it, they weren't they favored to win the Big Ten tournament.
Oh
When Michigan
yeah, it was the
State
Big Ten
got upset,
champions.
yeah, they were favored to win it. And
There was some serious controversy in the loss that they had, though. Serious
yeah,
controversy.
and the when Iowa lost after they won the Big Ten championship, it's not like they weren't favored to win the Big Ten championship that year.
Right, right.
So it's kind of like Michigan wasn't favored. And
No,
Michigan,
especially after
Michigan,
losing the last 3 games of the year,
yeah,
they finished
and,
the year
and
terribly.
yeah, and here's the thing, man. They they came. It seems that they come together at the right time. So I actually have Michigan going to the Elite Eight. I'm hesitant
Wow.
to put them further, but
Yeah,
we'll see. But are
I
you
gotcha. My goodness.
did you get it up yet?
This, I'm having troubles here. No, but we have a little bit of some issues going on getting into the actual account, so I might just do a Yahoo bracket and then come fill
All right, get
out
into your Yahoo
a
account. We'll fill.
ESPN bracket for our group a little bit later on.
All right, man, just get in the Yahoo account. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
so
I think Michigan. I think Michigan. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
I think Michigan is so inconsistent. They started the year terribly. Then they went on a serious tear, and then they ended the year terribly, and then they went on a tear again. I have really a lot of trouble picking what team they're actually going to be in this tournament. But they're hot right now, so I kind of get why you're thinking they could go far. I mean,
Cause here's the thing,
they
man.
caught fire somehow. I don't know how they did it because I watched them play down the stretch, and they were not a good team.
Yeah, cause here's the thing. Like
Yeah.
you said they were good, then they were bad, then they were good. It's just like I didn't see it that way. I always thought were a they were a good team throughout the season, and then they caught fire at the right time, which normally teams who do make good March Madness runs, they do get hot during tournament time.
Interesting. Yeah, no, that's for sure. I mean, they're getting hot at the right time, and that's what's frustrating as a Buckeye fan. But I mean,
But
yeah, I
Peter,
mean, they started the year with some terrible losses.
I don't extend the rivalry past football, man. Like I could care less about
It's
basketball.
every sport for me, bro. I hate them with a passion. I don't care if it's field hockey. I want Michigan to lose by 20.
What?
I've gone to so many Ohio State Michigan sporting events over the years and so many various sports, dude. I cannot stand the university as a whole. That's where my passion and disdain for them comes from. But no, they really have been an up and down team, really inconsistent because they started with some terrible losses in the non-conference. They were barely above 500, and then they went on like a 20-game tear, and then only losing like 2 games. And then they ended the season with 3 straight losses, just completely collapsing on themselves. And then flip the switch or something in the Big Ten tournament. They must have had their come to Jesus moment too. Got pissed off that they fumbled the Big Ten championship that they were in line for, and then they decided to go gangbusters. So I could see them making a deep run too because they're hot right now. But I'm just curious to see what team's actually going to show up to the NCAA tournament.
Like, but here's a team. Here's a team who I'm not buying into.
Who is that? North Carolina, maybe?
I'm not buying in North Carolina, dude, just because they blew out just because they blew out San Diego State, who I looked at the resume, it's not very impressive. So
Right.
it's kind of like I'm actually picking Ole Miss to beat North Carolina, then beat Iowa State, and make their way to the Sweet 16.
I can see that, yeah.
Where they eventually meet Michigan State or man, here's the thing about Michigan State, dude. I don't like how they finished that Wisconsin game, man. And it's just
really? So you're actually really down on them?
You gotta trust Izzo and March. You have to.
100%.
But here's the thing, like,
yeah,
they collapsed and folded during that Wisconsin game. Did you watch that game?
I didn't watch that one. I just watched the Michigan game.
Gotcha. So they got the ball back with 4 seconds. Actually, no, it was 7 seconds, and the dude's acting like there's like no time. He pulls up from half court with like 3 seconds left. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? So it's just like to me,
I did see the very ending. That's crazy, man.
That's a they could lose to Marquette, man. They could.
Wow, I don't see that happening, but I do see them going very far. But that's what makes March Madness awesome. I mean, I think they finished the regular season hot, in my opinion. They went on a just absolute tear and obviously everybody else lost, so they ended up winning the Big Ten championship by 2 games. But that is a pretty big mental lapse on his part. You can't have those kind of moments, can you, in March? Because it's single elimination. All right, we're really close to getting to the bracket here, the bracket fill-in live pickings. There's another team that got snubbed, man, West Virginia. What do you think about them? Do you think they have a case? They're actually talking about possibly suing the NCAA.
Why?
Got left out of the tournament when they were clearly better than North Carolina, had a better record by multiple games, had a better net ranking, but the North Carolina's athletic director was the director of the NCAA tournament selection committee, and so they're pretty ticked off.
So when their team comes to discussion, don't they have to step out of the room for that discussion?
I know that's the way it is with college football. I don't think it's that way with college basketball, but it may be. It may be.
Yeah. How's the you get it pulled up yet?
Yeah, I'm just we're getting close, but here we are. Okay.
Right. But here are my 2 big upsets for the first round, possibly 3, because I feel like this could be a year of just complete madness in the first round. Last year we had the Oakland University Grizzlies knocking off the Kentucky Wildcats, but this year I think, look, say what you want, make fun of this pick, but I think High Point's going to knock out Purdue the first round.
High Point, bro, of all schools. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Purdue was worse than Michigan at the end of the season. They lost like 5 of the last 7 games, I think, in the regular season. So yeah, I'm not mad at that. But terribly right now.
Here's the thing about that, Peter. You keep bringing up the Michigan thing. Purdue, they started off the season hot and they got worse as the season went on.
Yeah, they're not a team I'm very high on at all.
I also have Yale beating Texas
Ooh.
A&M.
I like it. Wow. That would be a massive upset.
So they folded against Texas. They completely folded against Texas. They had it won in overtime with like 15 seconds left. And then they don't account for a player, and he's wide open to the basket, gets it in and go to second overtime. They lose and run out of gas, losing second overtime. So I'm thinking like this Yale team is scrappy. They got a lot of leadership. If they can back Texas A&M into a dogfight, I could see them pulling it out. So
gotcha. That very well could happen, man. There's a lot of interesting first round matchups. I hope last year I feel like overall as a whole the tournament, like if I'm remembering correctly, there weren't a ton of first round upsets besides the Oakland Kentucky game. Jack Golke went crazy.
There was. James Madison beat Wisconsin. James Madison beat Wisconsin. I'm thinking about who did Grand Canyon beat last year?
That's true, they did. I remember we beat them. There weren't like
Yale beat Auburn.
Yeah,
Yale beat Auburn last year. So yeah, there were a lot of upsets last year.
Well, yeah, you might be right, but there weren't any like deep tournament runs. I guess maybe that's what I'm more referring to instead of like first round.
North Carolina State was an 11th seed who made the Final Four, and Clemson. Yeah, and Clemson made a run to the Elite Eight.
Their big boy, I forget what his name was, DJ something for NC State. He was fun to watch. He was definitely fun to watch. All right, I'm pulling up this the bracket here that I've got. I'm just gonna do it kind of live, and we'll see what we can do here. Is it showing there? Just to check on that.
Here we go.
Yep. Awesome. There's just a delay, I guess, but all right. So looking at the South region and the East region here that I've got, my buddy goes to Alabama State, but there's no way I'm picking Alabama State over Auburn. There was already a buzzer beater, Alabama State, in the playing game. They got the W, but I actually am really high on Auburn. I've watched them play multiple times this year, and I am shocked that they got the #1 overall seed, but I was very impressed with their player, Braum. I think that's how you say it. And I have Auburn going actually probably quite far in this tournament, just based on the couple of times I've seen them play. These 8-9 matchups are always really hard to look at and pick because there's just so little separation between the two.
I pick Louisville. Louisville is a really low. They should be higher than 8. They're the highest ranked 8 seed. They should be ranked higher than 8.
Seeding was really weird this year. Like Purdue, who had a worse record than Michigan, who completely fell apart at the end of the year, and Michigan won the Big Ten tournament, and somehow Purdue gets a higher seed than Michigan. I'm really, really confused by that. But it is what it is. Sometimes the committee makes some baffling choices. Now, a lot of people are picking San Diego over Michigan, and I know San Diego has a lot of wins, but they're coming from a conference where they're not playing too many teams. That seems like the trendy pick for an upset for some reason. Maybe that goes back to what I was saying, just the inconsistency of the team, but they're hot right now, and I don't think they're going to cool off for a little bit. So it irks me to say that they're hot, but this is when you want to get hot. If any point in the season, this is when you want to do it. Now, in this, you said you got Yale over A&M, huh? Do you have a little more reasoning for that, or what are you thinking behind that matchup?
Look, man, there's 14 SEC teams in this tournament.
Yeah.
Is it just that did they beat each other up all season long to where one of them is gonna have to go die in the first round? And this Yale team, man, like
That's not because of your reasoning. There are a lot of 13-4 upsets over the years, but I don't see it in this particular matchup.
all right.
Goodness gracious, Mississippi, North Carolina. You're talking about this one too, and I'm a little perplexed on this one as well.
So North Carolina is 1-12, quad 1 wins. Ole Miss did well in the SEC. They came close to beating Auburn. Let's see. I mean, they're a good quality SEC basketball school right now.
I mean, North Carolina's playing with house money, having gotten into the tournament. To be completely honest, they shouldn't have been, but they're there anyway because they're big brand name.
Watch them get to the Sweet 16, dude.
Hey, people take advantage sometimes of their opportunities when they get a second chance on life. It brings a spark to a team because nobody expected them to be here. I mean, their record is terrible. Like, it's not good. So I don't know. They certainly have a chance, but I'm going to go with Ole Miss in this one. Maybe that's a little biased pick because I'm mad at North Carolina for getting in the tournament, but that's wrong.
Peter, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm highly considering switching my pick to North Carolina just because they have RJ Davis and a lot of these others who are just absolutely pissed that they were basically the whole country was saying they don't belong.
Yeah. There's some good logic behind that, man. That'll motivate a team of college age students for sure. That kind of disrespect, and they got that first win. So, yeah, man, you still got one more day to do that pick. So,
yeah,
may perhaps go for it. I don't know much about Lipscomb, but I am going to go Iowa State in that matchup. Just as probably as a clear favorite in that matchup. Ooh. Marquette. It's not the Marquette of D-Wade days anymore, but they're still a decent program, consistently making the tournament. I've heard the Lobos are good. I'm actually going to go an upset here as a shocker, perhaps. I'm going to go with the 10 seed New Mexico Lobos. Michigan State over Bryant, that's a pretty easy selection. Spartans are moving on. My opinion, that won't be quite an entertaining matchup at all. Then moving over to the east side, man, now you're going to have to fill me in on this because I've been out of the loop this week. Is Cooper Flagg injured or is he not injured?
He's playing.
Obviously, it's not going to be a matchup in the first round, but like, is he?
I mean, dude, they won the ACC without him.
Yeah.
They're still going to make it far.
It's a very weak ACC this year, but some saying it's the worst power conference of the four. I'm still high on Duke, but it is a challenge to learn to play without your superstar. Not that they don't have others, but
he's playing though. He's playing.
So he's playing. It's confirmed. It's not like because he went off on a wheelchair.
He's playing, man.
It's totally confirmed, like 100%?
Yeah, bro. I looked it up myself. He's playing.
Okay, that's what I needed to know if I think I'm going to pick them to go far or not. That's good to know. As much as I despise Duke basketball in general. Mississippi State and Baylor. Wow. I'll be completely honest. I know nothing about either of these basketball programs.
Look,
I'm
man,
gonna go big.
You can't pick too many SEC teams, man. I'm gonna go with Baylor, dude.
Yeah, I'm going Big 12 on that, just on a hunch. There's no logic. There's no reasoning. I don't know any of their players. Liberty is not quite up to the task in this one in the 5-12 matchup. I'm curious, how many 5-12 matchup upsets do you have? Do you know? Just off the top of your head, I know you're not.
I have Colorado State upsetting Memphis.
That's the one I was eyeing too, to be honest, earlier when I was viewing the bracket. Dang. Okay. Akron won the MAC tournament. They were the MAC regular season champions as well. Arizona always underperforms in March, man. They always tear through. Now, this is obviously the disbanded Pac-12 conference. Now they're in the Big 12, but I can never pick Arizona to go high. I'm going to pick them to win this matchup. I mean, obviously, there's a huge talent disparity between Big 12 school and a MAC school, but for some reason, Arizona always disappoints in March, and it's upsetting because I've picked them to go quite far in the past in many years gone by. But VCU, they were the heroes a long time ago in making a deep tournament run. I'm high on BYU though. I actually like it. I realize I'm not picking that many upsets. That's not good. I'm picking favorites so far.
I have BYU going to the Sweet 16.
Interesting.
Maybe
Okay.
the Elite Eight.
I got you. Interesting. Wisconsin, Montana. Wisconsin's not playing good ball right now, although they did make the conference championship game. Maybe they flipped the switch too because they were pretty poor down the stretch at the end of the regular season. They nab a 3 seed, and some think that was much higher than it deserved to be too, and I would agree with that. They said, you know what's fun? It's interesting is I feel like Wisconsin got rewarded more than Michigan for winning for going that far in the tournament, in the conference tournament, because Wisconsin was not a 3 seed entering the Big Ten tournament play. They were projected a 5 or 6 seed, and I'm really surprised they got that high. I'm gonna pull the trigger on this one, man. I'm gonna go with the upset, Montana Grizzlies.
What, really?
Yeah, I'm going to pull the trigger. There's been a lot of 3-14 upsets over the last couple of years. I'm going to pull it here because I've watched Wisconsin play a lot this year, and I don't think they're overall a high-quality team. I don't see them reaching past the Sweet 16, so might as well pick an upset here is kind of my reasoning behind that one. St. Mary's and Vandy. My goodness. St. Mary's got more conference experience tournament experience than Vandy does. So I'm going to go St. Mary's in this one. And then Alabama gets an easy dub over Robert Morris. Switching back to the south side, Auburn-Louisville, the 1-8 matchup. My goodness gracious. Yeah, like I said, I was pretty high on Auburn, so I'm going Auburn. I'm advancing Auburn.
Wait, did you do the bracket, the portion with Purdue High Point, or no?
No, that's down here. That's this section. I'm gonna get to that in a little bit. That's so interesting, man. I'm not mad at your pick on that one either. This is a weird layout, the way they have it. It's like they have it broken up into 32 teams instead of 64. But I'm going to go Michigan here. I think they are playing hot right now, like I said. They found the right medicine to get hot at the right time. And I think they advanced to Sweet 16 here.
Hey, so you know that thing you were saying about the 14-3 seed?
Mm-hmm.
So not one happened in 2023. It was more the 13-4 seed that happened.
13-4 matchup. Maybe that's what I was conflating it with.
13-4 matchup. And let me see, because I'm looking at my past brackets.
Oh wow. Okay, nice.
And let's see. So 13-4 that happened last year was Auburn Yale that happened. No 14-3 right here. Let's see.
Yeah, that must have been what I was conflating it with.
Let's see.
Definitely Duke.
No 14-3.
Oof. This Oregon-Arizona matchup, yikes, that's a tough one, man. I know Oregon's in the Big Ten, but I have not seen them play once this season. The Ohio State game was far too late to watch.
Only one happened last year for the 14-3, but for the 13-4, more. So for the 13-4, Yale happened, and yeah, that was about the only 13-4 was Yale. So
I'm not as high on Yale as you are this year because their best player came to Michigan this year and absolutely balled out for them. Obviously, they still did well. They won both the conference regular season and the conference tournament, so they're still a good team. But and it's really hard to make runs for these little programs 2 years consecutively. So that's why I have them being balanced. But that's a good shout, though. I mean, obviously, they're clearly a consistent program. Now this Oregon-Arizona matchup, my goodness, man. I'm just
Oregon, dude. Oregon.
Once again, not high in Arizona, man, and their ability to make deep tournament runs. And they actually aren't nearly as good as they've been in years past. So I'm going Oregon. Montana, they're not going to be able to keep it going. I do have BYU winning in that matchup. St. Mary's and Bama, dude. Oh, Bama. Bama made the Final Four last year, correct?
Yeah.
They have that conference or that experience, man. And that, to me, that weighs heavy in March when I'm selecting brackets.
Bama?
I do have Bama advancing onto the Sweet 16 there. Oh, goodness. Now, let's see. Back to the South side. Like I said, man, I'm really high on Auburn. I think Michigan, I think they're coached very well this year, and they probably got a better record than maybe the roster that Dusty May put together, but I really respect their coaching staff. But having seen Auburn play multiple times and how dominant they've been when I've seen them play, I've got them moving on to the Elite Eight in this match.
But Peter, Auburn they finished their season on a down skid.
They did.
They lost. Yeah, they did.
They did. Like I said, I'm just kind of basing on when I watched them play. They blew out multiple top 5 teams that when I watched them play, and so I'm still really high on them.
All right, man.
I don't know what the cause was for their downslide a little bit, but I'm still very, very high on Auburn. I have them going quite far. I might honestly pick them to win the national title. We'll see when we get there, but that's how high on Auburn I am, having watched them play. Hopefully there's not some injuries that I'm unaware of. Man, I do like Izzo in March, and I was higher on this team at one point, but I'll be honest, man, I think the Big Ten was a pretty bad conference this season overall. I think we didn't have a single top 10 team for the majority of the season. I think there's a bunch of average teams. I don't think there's an elite team in the Big Ten, the entire Big Ten this year, just based on what I watched and the rankings and the seedings and just the way the season played out. Iowa State was flirting with the top 10 all season. I think they finished in the top 10, but they got a 3 seed instead of a top 2 seed. But I am going to pick the Cyclones in this one. I think Izzo's run comes to an end right here for the Big Ten champions, the regular season. I think their season finishes with a loss to the Cyclones. And then I've got Duke and Oregon. Oregon kind of making a run here, although I mean not knowing a ton about them.
Wait, Peter. Iowa State is without their best player.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's no way they're making. There's no way they're making a run.
Way.
Yeah, dude, they're without their best player.
See, this is why you need to do a little research before you're doing it. But I didn't have the time this week.
So Iowa State actually lost to BYU in the tournament, the Big 12 tournament.
I got you. What round though?
They lost like
the semis, or was it early?
It was early, man.
Dang, and they're without their best player.
I think it was like Thursday. Yeah, it was like a Thursday or something. Yeah.
You're giving me some insight there that that'll help me in the dance. Then I guess. All right, I'll flip that pick then. I did not know that. I know. Geez, that sucks for them, man. It
But
really does. Suck for them.
I have Iowa State losing to Ole Miss.
That's a good shout. It could happen. When you lose your best player, man, your season can go down the hill fast. Duke advancing, I don't think there's any question. Golly, I don't like how I have so little upsets. I am going to pick one here, though. BYU over Bama. That's a big upset, in my opinion. I need to pick some kind of chaos to be going. I can't have it go straight flush. That's for darn sure. So in the regional finals, I got Auburn, Michigan State, then Duke, BYU. Then we'll flip on down to the West and the Midwest. Who do you like out of these teams, man? Houston is the number 1 overall seed. I know they got a lot ahead at the beginning of the year, and I guess they just kept going and kept powering on.
Florida, dude, they're elite, man.
The Gators are disgusting, man. They're disgusting, man. Number 1 seed, two 1 seeds out of the SEC conference. Clearly, far and away the best conference this season. There's no questioning that. Obviously, Florida is going to easily take care of Norfolk State. UConn and Oklahoma, not the same UConn of the past 2 years.
I have Oklahoma, man.
Yeah, that's an interesting shout, bro. Yeah, they have not played well this season. A lot of turnover with the roster, obviously. I'll have them winning the first round matchup, but I don't have them advancing past Florida.
Telling you, man. Oklahoma, dude.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to differ on that one. I'm going to try and gain a point on you on the bracket on that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and gain a point. The 5-12 matchups, everybody loves picking upsets in this one. This is one we talked about earlier. I'm going to stick with it as well. I am going to go with Colorado State in that matchup. GCU and Maryland. Oh, gosh.
Maryland has a really good starting lineup, dude.
They do. They have a great top 5. I'm tempted to pick an upset there, but I've seen them play a couple times this season, and they're pretty skilled. They're pretty talented. I'm gonna go another upset here. SEC team gets knocked out by Drake.
I'm still contemplating this one, man. They've upset me the last couple years, dude. Picking them to upset some teams. I picked them last year, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, that's the thing, man, because they've done it previously, and they are a somewhat familiar face with the tournament. But that is one of the things. Got to pick some upsets somewhere, and I'm going to pick one here. I'm going to shoot a shot there. Tech, I've heard really good things about them. I haven't watched them play. They're taking on NC Wilmington. I'm going to pick Texas Tech to advance somewhat easily in that one. Kansas, Arkansas. Dude, Kansas is not – they were not good this year either, in my opinion. Hunter Dickinson, with his, 6th year of eligibility, they took some serious losses early, and they just were not a very competitive team, in my opinion. I'm going to go with the SEC here. I'm going to pick Arkansas in that matchup. And then St. John's, how about Rick Pitino's school? You don't have to tell me this, but, man, I'm curious to see how many people have St. John's going far with Rick Pitino's squad. They obviously coming out of a small conference.
Dude, you're going to pick Arkansas over Kansas, dude?
Yeah. I don't like Kansas at all this year. They're not a good team. They might win this game, but I don't have them going very far. They don't seem like a cohesive, gelled unit.
I don't like a past the if they get past the first round, I don't like them to get any further. But this John Calipari Arkansas team, it's not his regular. We're not talking about his Kentucky, the teams at Kentucky, or just well coached team. I mean, they folded against. I think they were up by 5 or 6 against Ole Miss in the final 5-6 minutes in the SEC tournament, and they folded and they lost.
Hmm.
Actually, no, I think it was more like 8 points. But yeah, they folded and they lost, man.
Well, he certainly doesn't have his roster there yet, but I feel like I might as well pick the upset because I don't have Kansas going far anyway. So
Yeah.
might as well pick it maybe one round earlier than it might happen. But like I said, I don't have Kansas going far. There's some good analysis though. Golly, man, this 8-9 matchup Gonzaga Georgia, bro.
Gotta go with Gonzaga, man.
Teams I'm not very high on, but Gonzaga does have a lot more tournament experience. I know Georgia made it last year as well, but I'm not high on either of those programs right now at the moment. But at least this year's iteration of their teams. Clemson, McNeese State. McNeese State seems to make it every couple years as well, man. They're familiar with the big dance. Not too high on the ACC as a whole conference. I think they were probably the worst Power 4 conference of the four, but I'm going to go Clemson. I'm not picking upset in this 5-12 matchup. You got Purdue and High Point now. My goodness, man. I'm not mad to shout. I don't think I'm going to be bold enough to pick that one.
Dude, has anybody even heard of High Point?
What's that?
Has anyone even heard of High Point?
Does anybody know where High Point University is or college?
I guarantee you, dude, people are going to know their name after tomorrow, dude.
I hope you're right, man. That'd be a great matchup. I would love to see that. Obviously, I root for chaos in the first couple rounds. I would love to see it. Brad Underwood's Illinois team, my goodness, man, versus the winner of tonight's matchup, Texas or Xavier.
Now, if Texas wins, I would consider taking the upset of an inconsistent Illinois team that you just don't know which one's going to show up. Now, this Illinois team does have full potential that I was reading. You know, they gotta, they gotta win the 3-point line, the turnover battle. But if Texas does not win, because Texas has Trey Johnson. Trey Johnson is the reason why they upset that. Is the reason why Texas upset Texas A&M in the SEC tournament. Now, if Xavier gets by, I'm gonna take Illinois, dude.
Really? I think either team could beat this Illinois program. To be completely honest, I am going to go for the upset in this one.
All right.
No matter who they play, actually, just because of, like you mentioned, you said it yourself. Illinois is so inconsistent this season. You don't know what team is going to show up night to night. They beat some really good teams and they lost to some poor teams. This Kentucky team, admittedly, I'm not as high on them as maybe some are because I watched them play. Ohio State beat their brakes off earlier this season.
I think they lose. I have them advancing, but losing the next round.
Yeah, I don't have them going too far either. Just because, every time I was score watching, I got family down in Kentucky, and it seemed like more often than not towards the end of the season, every time I was looking at their scores, they were losing the game. But they're going to advance past Troy. I don't see them losing that one. I do have Utah State pulling the upset.
I do too.
They're a trendy pick, man. Certainly trendy pick. And that I honestly could have them probably reaching the Sweet 16. I've heard they're a very good team. And so they might
beating Tennessee, dude.
Tennessee is super elite. Super elite. I'm very high on Tennessee too because I watched them play a little bit. But
I mean, yeah, I have Utah State beating UCLA, but not Tennessee, man.
I'm considering it. Sometimes you go cold. That would be a bold choice because when I see Tennessee play this year, they're really good.
Let me put it this way, Peter. Come tournament time, teams are either playing at their best or they have a setback. So you're talking about, you're really high on Auburn. Tennessee beat Auburn when Auburn's supposed to be at their best, playing their best. Come tournament time. So
they're peaking at the right time, but sometimes you go cold, bro. and there's nothing you can do about
All
it.
right, man.
I don't know.
All
We'll
right.
see. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick that upset or not, but I'm flirting with it. That's for sure. I am. Every time I've seen Tennessee play, though, they come out victorious. So obviously, like we mentioned, not too high enough on UConn this year. The Florida Gators are a super elite team.
Dude, they blew up Bama by like 22 points, man.
I saw that score, man. I was like, are you serious, bro? Dang. Freaking Gator Nation is back, bro. Haven't won a title since they repeated versus our Ohio State Buckeyes, but they're a very good team.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Maryland as well.
Now, wait. Think about this Colorado State team, man. They've lost 3 games all season. They have one of the best, I think one of the highest scorers in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Big possible upset.
There's definitely potential in that one. Maybe a little quick on the trigger on my pick on that one, but I am going with the Terrapins. I don't have them advancing probably much further. Oh man, Texas Tech and Drake. I'm gonna go with the Red Raiders. I think they advance. And then, wow, Rick Pitino's team versus John Calipari's team. 2 of the elite coaches. Both have won national titles. Not too high, like you mentioned, on Calipari's team this year. I'm going to go the St. John Johnnies advancing.
And that's where the run ends against the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
It probably does, in my humble opinion. I wouldn't have them advancing.
I just heard their offense is really iffy.
Yeah. Obviously, I haven't watched a ton of St. John's basketball this season, but they've had a very good year, but I can't see them making a seriously deep run, at least not on what I've heard of them. But congrats for getting back on the map. First conference title in like 30 seasons, I think it was. This is actually a pretty easy pick for me in the Houston-Gonzaga matchup. I'm not as high on Gonzaga as I have been in the past. As I mentioned, they're just not quite the same program that they've been for the last decade or so. Hence getting an 8 seed and not a higher seed. The Cougars, I'm not high on any of those other teams, but sometimes you got to pick some upsets. And in that Sweet 16 matchup, I might have to go for an upset, but we'll see. I wish that I could see which one, there was a result for Texas Xavier, but I'm going to go Kentucky anyway. Definitely.
They're not the same Kentucky team, man.
No, I know they're not. But just based on who they're playing, I think they get a dub.
Dude, whoa. Take a look at your bracket right now, man. You got 1-4, 2-3, 2-3.
Going pretty short. It's not good. It's going pretty chalk so far. That's not typical. That's for sure. This Clemson-Purdue matchup, I'm not high on Purdue at this point of the season. I'm going to go Clemson, picking that one. And then switching back, Florida, Maryland. Like you said, man, Florida's playing elite. They're blowing top-tier teams out. One of the few SEC teams I actually haven't watched play this season, and it's a shame because they've been so fun to watch, so I've heard. But the Terrapins just don't quite have the firepower to compete with the Gators in this one. I have Florida advancing. Now, in this one, Texas Tech, St. John's Johnnies, I'm going the 3 seed in that one. The Red Raiders advance to the Elite 8 in a very, very good matchup. I think Florida will probably take that one, but I'll come back to that in just a second. this is probably going to come back. This section of the bracket is probably going to come back to bite me in the butt because I'm not extremely knowledgeable on too many of these programs. I don't have. I know Houston has had a phenomenal season, but just for some upset bracket picking, going to Clemson Tigers. Now this one though, I need a little help with this one, my dude. I'm gonna make my own selection, but I mean Kentucky's not up and down, so I guess.
Dude, if you're gonna go with the Wildcats, man, Kentucky has beaten Tennessee every time this. I'm pretty sure every time this season.
Hard to do it 3 times, but they've lost too many games that I've seen, man, and I think they got a little higher seeding than perhaps what they deserved.
Telling you, man, dude, Kentucky. Like, I mean, it could happen.
No, I'm gonna go Tennessee. So I've got Florida, Texas Tech, and then Clemson, Tennessee. Oh Lord, I'm probably gonna do some serious revision of this bracket, but we'll see. I think the Red Raiders run comes to an end, man. I'm going Florida to reach the Final Four. I can't pick Clemson to go further. I am going to go with Tennessee. And I realize I got to go back and pick these matchups here.
Dude, you're about to have like 3 number ones.
Yeah, this is not how it's going to end up. I guarantee you this. I'm definitely going to do some revisions, but this is kind of a blind reaction, blind ranking, but I can't pick Michigan State to beat Auburn, man. Just based on, I know you said they finished the year on a little bit of a slump, but that was, just a conference tournament, and a lot of the madness begins, in conference tournament. I maybe it's a bias from the games I watched them play, but I do really. I'm extremely high on Auburn, and like I said at the beginning, I might pick them to win the national championship. I'm gonna go with crazy upset here. I'm gonna just pull the trigger, man. I've heard great things about the Cougars, BYU, and so I'm gonna go with them in a shocking upset over Duke and Cooper Flag. Cooper Flag gets sent home early. I know they've been consistent throughout the year. They haven't really tripped up at too many vacant points. But all right, I got 2 1 seeds on the one side. Now I've got a 6 and a 2 on the other side.
Jeez.
Could it be an all SEC final? I mean, that's what a lot of people are predicting. This would be 3 teams from the SEC reaching the Final Four. There's no way I'm picking BYU in this one. They've had a nice run in my bracket, but I'm picking Tennessee. And then I'm just going to stick with the gut, man, and what I've been saying about Auburn. I think they're an elite program this season, and I think they'll figure it out. And then I'm going to go the national champions, the Auburn Tigers, over the Tennessee Volunteers. Could you see either of those 2 teams potentially making the Final Four? And you don't have to give away your bracket or secrets or anything, but could you see those 2 teams making a run to the championship game, or not exactly?
You mean BYU or Tennessee?
No, the championship matchup, Auburn-Tennessee.
Man, I have a completely different – I mean, dude, Florida, man.
You're super high in Florida. I'm super high in Auburn. So
I actually have Florida and Duke in the final, man.
You have Duke making it. Okay. I'm not mad at that because
I mean, dude, I have BYU possibly making the Elite Eight, but they don't beat Duke, man. No way. Dude, they got blown out by Houston, dude. You can't get blown out by Houston, just turn around, and Duke won the ACC without 2 of their best players.
They won the ACC championship, regular season, and the conference tournament
without their 2 best players.
I don't know, man. It could be. It could be. They have the skill set and the talent to make a Final Four run, but that's what makes filling out these brackets quite fun, man. Is people are higher on different programs. You know, other people are higher in different programs. You have every reason to believe in Duke. Uh,
Yeah.
it is impressive to go on and win the ACC tournament, but like I said, probably the weakest conference out of the Power Four. And now I think they probably are an elite team, but maybe their record's a little inflated because of how bad the ACC was this season. Just
Yeah.
maybe. That's just a
I'm telling you,
hypothesis. That's a
man,
hypothesis.
you may want to take a look at one of those 13-4 matchups I was talking about, man. At least
That's
one of them,
great.
dude. I'm telling you, dude, Purdue is not the same team, man.
No, they're not. They're definitely not. I know they're not good, but I mean, they lost 5 of their last 7 games. That's a good shout for a matchup for an upset.
You want to know my Final Four, dude?
I would love to hear your Final Four. Who you got?
I have Florida, Michigan,
Wow, staying hot.
Duke, and Clemson for now.
You have Clemson going far too.
Yeah.
I can't fill me in a little bit on Clemson, like because
I may switch it because one of the Hunter brothers is hurt, dude.
okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't, but
I mean they with the loss of him, they've had a really good season, but with the loss of him, they just couldn't get it. I mean, they couldn't get past Louisville to get to the ACC championship game, man. But with Hunter, with the other Hunter brother, they upset Duke.
Okay. Well, we're gonna see how things shake out. This is the best tournament in all of sports, in my humble opinion, man. It's a fun time of year to watch. I'm dejected that our Buckeyes aren't in it, but they didn't deserve it, man. They had a lot of quality wins this year. I mean, they smashed Kentucky. They got smashed by Auburn. They beat Texas. They beat multiple teams in this tournament, but they weren't even close to tournament worthy. And they missed it for the third year in a row. So
look around, Cindy. You gotta pick Georgia.
I'm not high on Georgia. They're not nearly as good as they were last year. But yeah, that's kind of how it is. I might shake things up. You might see a difference.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. Dude, telling you. Oklahoma beats UConn first round.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that one either because that program, for some reason.
But looking at my picks in the past, the 8, 9, 10, 7 matchups have always gotten me.
It's just so freaking hard to pick, man.
I either pick the wrong upset, or I don't like. I either pick the wrong upset or I pick the wrong team. Like, oh yeah, they seem like a shoe-in. So
sure.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I don't watch much. I do honestly. The only basketball I've watched is the conference championship games, the conference tournaments. Like, if you want to do well in your March Madness bracket, from what I've done is watch basketball teams where they're at their best, teams who make a hot run, and then you do your research. So
it's fun. It's funny because admittedly, it sounds. I've probably watched more college basketball than you, but you definitely sound more knowledgeable than I do at this point. In this, outside of the Big Ten, I watch a lot of Big Ten exclusively. But
dude, I've literally only watched the conference the conference tournament
so
games.
Funny, dude.
That's it. I haven't turned it on one game.
I watched the Auburn-Alabama game. That game was sick. Oh, that game was sick. Man, that was a fun watch. But yeah, college basketball. I used to be a lot higher on it. Obviously, the Buckeyes have slipped up since 2016. They've not been the same program. Hopefully, Jake Diebler gets things turned around, but we'll see what happens. But that's what I got for now, man. We're gonna see what happens in this March Madness. This is a lot of fun to watch, man. I'm excited to watch some basketball this weekend as we get to.
Yeah,
It's
definitely,
just
man.
all day, you know.
Yeah.
So it should be a lot of fun. But appreciate you all for tuning in tonight, and yeah, you guys have a good night. Go Bucks and God bless. We'll see you on the next one. All right.
OH.
I-O.